typically it's I want to make X amount of dollars a month, because that's how we think of it, because we have monthly expenses, therefore we want a certain amount of monthly income, but it's just not the right approach.
So the 4 main sections of this book are the experience, the money, deal, and execution. So if you want to dive into the experience first.
Yeah, and we typically, at least from my experience with books on apartments, it's about how do you find the money and how do you find the deal, but the books don't touch on how to get the experience necessary and attract the right team members, as well as how to execute. So we have the bookends of experience and execution, and then in the middle we've got the money and the deal, and that's why I'm really excited about this book, because I know it'll be helpful for and serve a need that's currently out there. And in terms of the experience, one myth or misconception that's out there is that the goals that we have should be about certain amount of passive income every month. But that is thinking about it the wrong way as apartment syndicators, because we're actively involved in deals. We're not passive. And a lot of the times I come across investors who are getting into apartment syndication, and they think about it, they think about their goals in terms of, I want to make X amount of passive income a month, but in reality, none of this is passive, number one. Number two is, the goal might be, I want to close on X amount of units, say 200 units in 12 months. That's a terrible goal too. And the reason why X amount of passive income every month and or X amount of units closed on within a certain period of time are terrible goals is because they don't address the real thing that you're after. And the real thing you're after is the amount of income and that you can generate within a 12-month period of time. And it doesn't address either one of those two things don't address the way that we make money as apartment syndicators. And the book goes through in the execution part all the different ways we make money. And from a high level, it is think of a weight, as you're pumping iron. You've got a weight on the left, a weight on the right, and a skinny little bar in the middle. The weight on the left represents an acquisition fee. The skinny little bar in the middle is asset management fee / the equity ownership profits. And then the weight on the right is disposition, whenever you actually sell the deal and you perform on the projection, or you deliver on the projections that you projected. And so as apartment syndicators, we shouldn't think of it as, I want to make X amount of passive income a month, because until you have a substantial portfolio, you're not going to be making passive income every month. You're going to be making a chunk of money on the left with this at the beginning with the acquisition fee, and then you make a little bit of money asset management, which likely goes back to the operation costs that you have with your team to execute the deal, and then you're going to make money when you actually execute on the plan. And the reason why we don't, so that's why you don't think of it as a passive income. You just think about it as, how much money do I want to make within 12 months? And I'll reverse engineer that here in a second. But I want to address the other part is when we look at, I want to close on 200 units in 12 months. Well, that's a bad goal too, because, okay, here's a contract. It allows you to close on 200 units, and by the way, you're going to lose $1 million a month. And that's terrible. No one wants that. So instead of saying I want to close on X amount of units by a certain period of time, I would suggest that the goal be, I want to make X amount of total dollars within this period of time. And so here's an example of how to do it. I'm going to need my calculator to do this, but let's just say, the average acquisition fee is anywhere between 2 and 5% of purchase price. Let's just say, be conservative. Actually, it could be less, maybe 1 to 5%. Let's just say 2% is what we're going with. So if you want to make, say, $100,000 in the first 12 months, then you simply take $100,000, divide it by 2%, and then that's a $5 million purchase price, right? 2% of the acquisition fee is the purchase price. You now know that you are looking to close on a $5 million deal in order to earn $100,000 at closing. And now you have a goal of, okay, now I'm specific about, I want to close on a $5 million property. I will receive a 2% acquisition fee, which equals $100,000. If you want to get even more specific about the vision, then you times whatever your purchase price is, so in this case $5 million, by 35%, because approximately that's how much equity you'll have to bring to the deal, which includes closing costs, down payment, fees, etc. And 35% times $5 million is $1.75 million, so $1,750,000. That's the equity that you'll need to raise at closing or prior to closing in order to close the deal. So now you know exactly how much equity you'll need to bring to the deal, and you can start thinking about it much more strategically and concretely. And if you want to get even more specific, then know what the price per units are on average within the market that you're looking at, and say it's $65,000 price per unit on average. Now you can take 65,000 or 5 million divided by 65,000, and now you have it's 76.9. So now you know approximately you're looking to close on a 77 unit property worth $5 million at a price per unit of $65,000, and that will earn you a $100,000 acquisition fee. So there are plenty of other examples like that people starting out, myself included, don't know to think about, and it's just a shift in mindset that can have monumental differences and changes in how successful we are as apartment syndicators and entrepreneurs in general. And there are examples of that in the execution part, as well as many others to help you out.
So it's almost about getting deeper into the knowledge of somebody's goal in the execution section.
Yep.
Which is what you kind of just explained.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's looking past the surface of what I have found is typically looked at. Typically it's, I want to make X amount of dollars a month, because that's how we think of it, because we have monthly expenses, therefore we want a certain amount of monthly income, but it's just not the right approach. And then it's, well, I just want to close on a large apartment building, say 200 units, 300 units. Again, terrible approach. We should think about it more strategically.
Okay. Joe just finished talking about part 1, the execution of his upcoming book, The Best Apartment Syndication Book Ever, which, by the way, you can go to apartmentsyndicationbook.com and check out the free giveaway that will be with pre-order, and then when pre-order goes live. Next, we will transition over into part 2, which is the money. So let's listen in on Joe talking about the money part of the book.